Good morning.
Good morning.
And goeiemorgen. Yes, this was a morning of,
Hiccups.
yeah, can we say hiccups? First of all, my lovely cat walked past my screens and took out all the wires at the back, and I couldn't find this problem. Listen, you should shift up a bit nearer. People would think you don't like me or something like that. Put it a bit more that way. So, yeah, all right. And then we had a speaker this morning that would have joined us, but somewhere along the line, we couldn't get her up and running on the same platform as us. So
He's stuck with us.
So we wanted to speak to her about resilience. She had a very, very interesting journey to up until this point. It's about 5 years that she was in her journey. And I think if anybody wanted to go back to South Africa and wanted to give up, it could have been them.
Yes. But we will speak to her next.
We'll speak to her next year.
Yes.
Well, we had a resilient journey as well from the start up, but once we came here, it was a bit easier. Hers were easy until she came here, and then it became.
And it was a nightmare.
It turned to, can I say shit? Am I allowed to say shit on this?
No.
No, okay. But it turned to something like shit.
Your grandkids are watching.
My grandkids watching, okay.
So we thought we'll just carry on with the topic resilience, and then next week
we'll have part B.
Yes.
Okay.
The thing is, why this was resting on Diana's heart as well. There are so many posts on Facebook these days of people that that's going back to South Africa.
And that are unhappy and
they're just not fitting in, and they're finding it really hard to find their feet and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. I totally get it. I just wonder sometimes if you give yourself enough time, if you give it enough time to just see if it can actually work. I think 3 months is it's not enough. It's not enough. I know sometimes your money run out, and then it's really hard because you have to look after your family. So what do you do?
The other thing is, I wonder sometimes if people don't romanticize the whole move. It's like this fairy thing, and we're going to New Zealand, and it's going to be trolls coming out, and then suddenly they are here, and it did not happen. That's why what I spoke to some people as well when they are going back. They would sometimes say, "Yeah, we had this idea in our heads, and it's going to be pretty much like your idea."
Yeah.
She had the idea. I'm sorry, just to pop back to that. She thought she's going to come here with a bicycle and ride into the market every day and buy our fresh produce.
I thought it was going to be like Italy.
Yeah. And it didn't happen, but you're stuck. You didn't go back.
No, I never thought about going back. I just wonder sometimes if you give yourself enough time, and then also if you come here and keep a back door open, then I don't think you'll ever be there where you know, I have to make this work. There's just no way that I'm turning back. I get it if your kids struggle to adapt. I know it must be really hard. I've got no idea what it feels like to come here with a teenager that don't want to be here.
I think it must be hectic.
It must be so hard. Yeah. And you know what? I read a message on Facebook yesterday coming from a girl. She's now 20.
Okay.
And she posted and she said, coming from someone that was 15 when we arrived here, I'm now 20. And she wrote a whole story there about how the kids will one day thank you. I actually want to get a hold of her and see if we can't talk to her, because I always wanted to hear from their side, now that they're older, if they look back at how difficult it was, and you as a parent struggling with the idea of, am I doing the right thing?
Yep.
Am I doing them an injustice to keep them here? To hear from someone that's been through that and that's now grown up and living in New Zealand as an adult, what their thoughts are now looking back. So I will really try to get a hold of her.
Yeah. And guys, if you are an adult and you struggled when you arrived and you are at that point of life now that you are grateful, and I'm talking about really grateful that you did come and that you did vastbyt. That's Afrikaans word. That's a nice word, eh? That you did vastbyt a bit and just are here today, and we want to hear your story. I think we want to hear your story.
Yeah.
And not only us, I think there's other people that need to hear your story.
And the thing is now, there are a lot of people, and I know because this is a South African thing. If you're struggling in New Zealand, you don't want to tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to post about it because people are really nasty. And the comments that they leave you are just terrible. Everyone just says, so go back.
Yeah.
That is not why you are telling, we always say, reach out if you're struggling, if you have a problem, if you're not fitting in, if you struggle to find friends. But if you do that, then you get hit over the fingers for that.
But the other thing as well is, yesterday somebody posted, and he had a story about how he's struggling, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately sent him a message on Facebook and on Messenger and said, reach out, just reach out. And until now, hasn't made any contact.
But people don't do that because they get judged.
Yes,
So then in the end,
I'm the last person who will ever judge anybody about this. Because I don't like people going back. I'm being quite frank. So
I get it. That's also why people post anonymous posts, because they don't want to get
I want to be judged.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say good morning to Vanita, morning Rian, and away Sean.
So yes, I don't know what we're going to do about the problem. There is a Facebook group for people that's here where they can share these stories and where they can really tell it how it is, because let's face it, it's not all Maanskyn and Rose.
Yeah.
New Zealand's got its own problems.
And can I be honest this morning?
Yes.
There was a stage in my life in the first 6 months that I was really delving deep down, and I had to go back to where I was in South Africa, not in my head. I had to go back there and say, why have you left this?
Yes.
Because at that stage, a heck of a lot of stuff didn't make sense this side, stuff that I wasn't really ready for. And I thought I was totally sorted out when we came here, and it wasn't like that, to be quite frank.
So yes, and if you're a couple, I think, look, if you both decide this is not working and you gave it your all, then
I would think just give it another 6 months.
I think just I don't know, just persevere. I don't know. But the other thing is also, when you're in New Zealand and you talk to your friends and your family in South Africa, you don't want to tell them that you're struggling.
Oh, yeah,
why not?
Because then they get on your head and say, but we told you so.
That's the thing. Instead of just having your back, pushing you through it, being there for you, those people will say, especially friends, we had a few friends, even some family, that would just say, yes, we told you so. And I don't know, they make the journey just harder for you. So I get it that you don't want to talk to them about that. You don't want to tell them what it's all about and how some people, I don't know, the journey is just harder for some people than for others. And I get it.
It is. But on the end of the day, I can tell you something. This was one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life.
It is.
It was one of, and I'm going to say this again, we are here for nearly 6 years now. This is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. It was extremely hard.
And last night, when I read someone's post on Facebook, again, yes, I'm on Facebook all the time, I like to hear people's stories. And
you're a stalker.
Yes, but she spoke about how people don't get how difficult it really is if you've got that longing in your heart for your people back in South Africa. You don't miss the country, and that's what some people don't get. And there's nothing wrong with missing your family. There's nothing wrong with missing your friends. I didn't even miss the familiarity of South Africa. I didn't miss. Yes, it's nice to go back and smell the ocean and see the sunsets and all that. But it's not that is a longing and I have to be there to experience it every day. But it is really hard to leave your family behind. Look, if you could bring your whole family, then it would be heaven on earth. But it's the same for me. It's not possible. And that is the thing that every day, I won't say it's a struggle, but it's a thing that is in my mind every day because my daughter is still there and my grandkids.
Yep.
Now, look, I miss my daughter, don't get me wrong, but those little ones, as jy nie 'n ouma is nie, you will never get this. It is really hard. And every time you see them on the phone, I'm getting emotional now, but it's really hard.
Okay. Let's talk about something else that'll make you smile a bit this morning. No need to get so emotional about this, and I know where you come from. So.
And it's not like you want to go back, not at all. It's just if you could just have them, yeah.
I want to read what Jan said on the other channel. He said, we need summer now so we can go camping. That would really help a lot. I fully agree with you.
Yes.
I think we all need a good dose of sunshine.
Oh, yes.
But hopefully, let's hold thumbs. We are going to get some sunshine. We're leaving for the Sunshine Coast in a few hours' time. And we'll be back next week.
Before the next
week, this same time, we'll be back at home again.
Yes.
I just want to go and see if the sun is still out there.
We're really looking forward to it. It's also friends that we made when we just came here. They were like our children, Rudy and Elaine. And they moved to Australia about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? And we've never seen them since then. So we're going to visit them, and I am really looking forward to it.
Don't cry about that.
No, it's just when I think about my grandkids that I cry. It's the only thing that makes me cry.
Somebody just saying, JP van der Berg saying, your broadcast really gives us hope during difficult times. Yeah. And Sean saying, and I know Sean lives there in the south, and he says the winter blues make it even harder. Reach out for support, people. Very important. Guys and girls, I've always said it. And my door will always be open, and her door will always be open. If you don't want to talk to me,
I'll cry with you.
Talk to her. But just remember, there's more emotions this side. I'm more the beacon of hope. Stay, bite fast.
Sometimes you just want to be able to express how you actually feel. You don't want someone to tell you, go back. You don't want someone to tell you, I told you so.
You just want somebody to listen.
You just want someone to get what you say.
Just to listen. Yeah. And the problem is, you can't tell that to your mother and father.
No.
They've never done what you've done. To immigrate is probably one of the, I want to call it the worst things in your life that you can do. It's probably one of the worst things in your life that you can do. And that's with all respect to everybody who's ever immigrated. It's hectic. It's hectic.
Yeah. It is one of the hardest things. And you know, the thing is, yes, it gets better. You get settled. It becomes home. I mean, New Zealand is my home. I don't want to live anywhere else. I love this country, and it has been so good to me. So it's not like you want to live somewhere else, but you are allowed to miss people.
But the first year,
yes,
it was difficult.
It was difficult.
Let's call it by its name.
It was difficult.
I know I'm always a groot back guy who says, nah, it's not that. The first year was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I somewhere got a video that I made. It's about 4 or 5 minutes where I just sit and talk a lot of crap about how bad I felt that New Zealand was. Price-wise, I mean, at that stage, a Coke in the dairy was $4.50. And I was still paying with rands.
Yes.
And at that stage, it was 1 to 10. It's 45 rand for a bloody Coke. It was crazy.
Look, yeah.
But the first year was difficult for me, for her, and I think for everybody else. There's very few people who can tell me without lying that the first year wasn't difficult. Because you need to adapt to the new country, to new weather patterns, to a new boss, to everything at the same time.
Yeah. And we came here when Zahn he just finished his studies in South Africa when we came here. So he had to look for a job and he needed to make friends. Luckily, it's his personality to go out and seek up friendships. So, but it is really difficult. And if your mindset is, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just go back. Then it will probably be very easy to just pack up and go.
Oh,
yeah. The thing is with me, I think with you too. When I decide I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And if I decide I do want to do something, then I do it.
And I think I'm just too stupid to give up.
No, I say to him, you must just remember when we leave, because I really struggle to leave, but when we leave, there's no turning back. I'm not coming back.
That's why we had to come with residence.
There
was no work permit for me. I had to get a residence. Vanita just saying on the other channel, the first 18 months was the worst for us. I wanted to pack up and leave. At a certain stage in my life, while I was in New Zealand, I realized it would be better off for me under a bridge in New Zealand than back in a home in South Africa, to be quite frank.
And then just another thing that we don't tell people ever, and that people don't tell each other is, missing your family will not get better.
Yeah.
It will actually get worse.
Yeah.
Because, as I said to someone last night, time goes by and the grandkids gets older. You get to see them once a year.
Mm-hmm.
You miss out on so much. Your parents get older. So it really becomes more difficult the longer that you are away.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents get older and they get fragile, and you're not there. So the guilt is there always. And with the grandkids, it's just like you see them. I saw them now, they're 6 and all of a sudden they're 8. It makes such a huge difference. So it doesn't get better. So this is something that you have to deal with, eh? What?
Just leave your mother-in-law in South Africa. Don't bring them with. Okay. But he was anonymous, so I think he's a bit afraid of the wife. Donovan Wenzel on the other channel saying, we have been here for 4 years, but like Jan says, it's really hard work and totally worth it. Just bait fuss. Gareth Brown saying, the medical support system in New Zealand is very poor. It adds to the suffering. I do agree, but up to a degree.
I agree. Yes, up to a degree.
Yeah.
We've had a terrible year, health-wise.
Yeah.
And I must say, I don't know, to get into the system, it's hard. But when you're in, so it is great.
Somebody say it was hard, but so worth it, guys. I'm glad to hear good stories as well.
Yes.
We tend to be, and especially South Africans, we tend to only feed on the negative. It's a South African thing, and it's because where we come from.
Yes.
Because we've been blasted in South Africa with negative stuff only. Have you ever watched news in South Africa that's anything positive?
Yeah.
But here, if you watch news here, sometimes there's a lot of positive stuff on there as well.
So if I can give you some advice, when you see your partner is down, if you can just be the light for a few hours or for a few days, and the other way around, we've always had it lucky. I think that's why God put us together. When I'm not all smiles, then he's the one that just keeps pushing on and doing nice things and whatever. And when I see he's not feeling his best, make him the nicest meal that you can, or just do something to cheer him up a little bit.
And that's why I'm fat.
And yes, but
I got you.
And then just be so that the one can just be the light while the other one is in darkness. That can work. Same with your friends. If you see someone is down, just be there for them and just be the laughter. And I don't know, if you can just work together to make sure that everyone gets on the right path again. Yeah.
And I know this has been a bad year weather-wise. I mean, I've been complaining. I can promise you, if we take this video camera and stuck it out the window, my boat is standing there. I can't even remember when last that vessel was out in the ocean. The ocean is just up to crap. We don't take chances out there. Yeah. But
you know what? If you can't go fishing, do something else. Nice. Do something else that's nice. So yes, we'll talk to Biana then next week to hear her story. And
we'll test the system in the meantime with Biana and see that she gets up from her side. Vanita has this, that's another, she says it's been a cuck here in New Zealand.
For you too. Yes.
That has really been a cock year.
Yeah.
Let's be quite honest.
But we've
But
done
even the Kiwis say that.
yeah,
So,
but we've done so many other things
It is.
that you
Mm.
just make it work. It's home, so you
And
have to just
I
deal
got to
with it.
say something that really tickled my fancy was the braai we had.
Mm.
Um,
In the rain.
we had a date. We had the braai. I can promise you, a week before that time, it was 100% raining on that day, and everybody could have stayed at home.
Mm.
We decided not to call it off.
Mm.
It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. About half the people arrived. There were still heaps of people coming out in the rain, just coming to say hi, just
They
standing a
all
little bit of me.
put up their gazebos and we bride in
Some people
the
didn't even
rain.
bride, was miserable out there, but they at least they had to
Yeah,
spend a few minutes with somebody else.
just getting out.
Yeah.
It was really
So-
good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, and just once again, if
Reach
you're
out.
really struggling, please don't keep it to yourself. If you don't want to talk to your family, if you don't want to tell it to your husband or whatever,
Yeah.
just tell it to someone that can just sit with you a little
Yeah.
while.
And I
cry
promise
with
you, if you reach out to us, we don't judge. We've been there. We've really, really been there. So, okay,
Okay,
that's us. We're
enough
going to
of
keep
that.
it short this morning.
I'm going to pack now. We're leaving for Brisbane.
Yep, there's so many stuff that's going to happen now before 10
Yes.
o'clock. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks, guys. Next
We're
week,
not
we'll...
moving to Australia.
Yeah, we're not. Just put it out there.
We're just going to visit.
Yeah, we're just going to visit. I must want to check out what is Australia all about and give some honest feedback from my
I just
side.
want to hold a koala bear. That's all.
I had to pay $68 to get that done. Okay. She's going to have a koala bear.
Okay.
All right. See you all. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.